on the occasion of the 43rd annual meeting of the Caribbean Development Bank Board of Governors, it gives me great pleasure to address you for the first time as the Secretary General of the Caribbean Community, and so continue the tradition of past Secretaries General. I therefore wish to take this opportunity to congratulate the Board, management and staff of the Caribbean Development Bank on another year of dedicated service to the member states of the Caribbean Community amidst the difficult economic environment globally and even more so in the region. I would like to commend the bank on its contribution towards advancing economic cooperation in the community, and in particular its leadership role in structuring and brokering regional solutions to the financial debacle which ravaged the financial sector in several CARICOM member states in the wake of the global economic crisis. The IMF states in a recent report that, to varying degrees, and with some exceptions, Caribbean small states are facing extreme versions of the problems faced generally by small states: low growth, high debt, significant vulnerabilities to natural disasters, and low resilience to shocks. The impact of the global recession has exacerbated the weak growth performance of many of our economies. The record shows that most of our country's economic performance has not contributed to addressing these challenges. Moreover, it is clear that the traditional solution which emphasizes maintaining macroeconomic stability and creating the environment for private sector activity have not been a sufficient stimulus for the achievement of the high rates of sustained economic growth that CARICOM states require in order to propel them into the category of high-performing developing countries. What is also clear is that CARICOM states must focus on putting in place an endogenous growth strategy capable of unleashing high growth performance and building resilience against the vagaries of the global economy and our inherent economic vulnerabilities. In that context, the Caribbean Community, as a regional integration entity, is at a crossroads. Some have argued that the integration effort, as currently designed, has reached its limits and is unable to address the current economic challenges, and it is therefore time for the emergence of a new development paradigm for the region. While not dismissing that argument, I would also contend that the concept of the CARICOM single market and economy, as adopted by our heads of government in 1989, remains valid and relevant today as a platform for promoting production, economic competitiveness, and growth in CARICOM member states. While we have been focusing on the trade elements of the CSME, as necessary as that may be, we have not sufficiently advanced the work on production integration and economic growth as a region. I would like to posit that it is time for us to consolidate our gains, of which there are many, and seek to give effect to the production arrangements in our treaty, and explore hitherto uncharted paths of cooperation and collaboration towards promoting sustained economic growth and development in CARICOM states. The heads of government, fully cognizant of the fluid situation globally, regionally, and nationally, will focus attention on strategically assessing the future direction of CARICOM economies with a view to determining a new or more effective growth paradigm when they meet at the 34th regular meeting of the conference in July in Trinidad and Tobago. Without a doubt, the CDB must have a role in this dialogue, given the thrust of our conversation over the last 2 days and the bank's mission in continuing to promote harmonious economic growth and development among CARICOM member states. After all, the CDB was created precisely for that purpose. The growth strategy should therefore include building growth poles around specific sectors, addressing logistical and connectivity issues in a sustainable manner, and striving for productivity improvements through innovation and critical skills development. The formulation and deployment of such a strategy will require a concerted collaboration among the public and private sectors in all member states and regional institutions like the CDB and the CARICOM Secretariat to address development constraints. We are all aware that the domestic financial system in member states is neither geared towards nor capable of providing development financing resources of the kind required to support an endogenous growth strategy for CARICOM member states. As the premier development financing institution in our region, the CDB is well placed to both assist in guiding the appropriate growth strategy for the community and to provide leadership in structuring the necessary innovative financial solutions and products in accord with the needs of member states. We are all aware that the CDB has previously structured innovative solutions to support regional initiatives such as the financing of the Caribbean Court of Justice, and therefore convinced that the bank can rise to this challenge. In this regard, I note the elements of the bank's private sector development strategy and the emphasis on promoting regional approaches to problem solving in the area of capacity building. Much of what is required for sustainable growth inevitably comes to rest squarely on the performance of the private sector and its capacity to both organize itself and to exploit the many opportunities, particularly within the CSME and through the many trade agreements into which the region has entered. We must therefore work collaboratively with the private sector, particularly the small and medium-sized enterprises, to meet their financing needs and to enhance their competitiveness, which will provide the basis for more sustainable growth within CARICOM economies. I look forward to deepening the collaboration between the CARICOM Secretariat and the bank in supporting all member states towards a path of sustained inclusive growth and development. In that regard, we must anticipate very positive results from the Caribbean Growth Forum initiative, in which we are both very much involved, along with the University of the West Indies and the international financial institutions. I'm expecting that this would follow the successful path of the many other initiatives in which our two institutions have collaborated over time. Indeed, it would be remiss of me if I failed to mention the CDB's involvement in managing the financial resources flowing to the community under the 10th European Development Fund Caribbean Programme and from the United Kingdom Development Fund for International Development in respect of aid for trade initiatives in CARICOM. In closing, I wish to thank the government and people of St. Lucia for the gracious hospitality extended to my delegation and me, and for the excellent organization of this meeting.